And it doesn't just go away. We can't just turn the thoughts off. We can't just tell everyone in the world to stop stressing us out. It doesn't work like that. Right. So it's really learning how to manage ourselves, and instead of just constantly reacting to things, learning how to truly respond.
Welcome to Mastery Podcast, where we explore the art of living fully, balancing mind, body, spirit, and passion in pursuit of a better world. I am your host, Dr. Sass. Today, we're honored to have Shelly Vecchio, the founder of Gloryus, joining us. Gloryus is more than just a brand. It's a beacon of hope, guiding individuals through their personal development journey to create and sustain positive change in their lives. Shelly, welcome to Mastery Podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we're just going to dive right in.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've been through a great ordeal. You've been through bullying. You've been through, overcoming depression and stuff like that. A lot. And I want to congratulate you for overcome all that. Can you touch base on that story just a little bit so our audience there can understand where you're coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. As when I was growing up, right, I was the high energy, curly girl, curly hair girl that was always trying to make people laugh. And I was an overweight child, so between my curly hair and my high energy and being overweight, I was like a beacon of like, we're gonna get at you. Mm-hmm. And, it was hard. It's hard, right? Because you just want to look like the other little girls and be able to wear what the other little girls wear and go to the stores and shop where they shop. And it just wasn't something that was in the cards for me when I was little, right? I had to dress slightly different, and I kind of wore hand-me-downs and did whatever I could to kind of cover myself up in hopes that would stop people from making fun of me, but it ended up giving them, other reasons, right? Because people will always find a reason when they're not happy with themselves, because hurt people, right? So no matter what I did, it was kind of like, you're too much, you're too loud. You got to tone it down, right? All these things. You got this wild curly hair, straighten it. And I do happen to have it straightened today, but because I choose to. Mm-hmm. And it's a very different choice nowadays that I get to make. And I'm privileged to be able to say that I'm okay with making that choice, right? But I also rock my curly hair and my bright colors and my bright energy. And I don't hide it anymore, because for so long I dimmed my light and I had no voice. And that was hard. Right? Because it takes an internal toll on you over time. It's also created who I am, which is so much, it was honestly a gift, because I wouldn't be who I am today without going through all of what I went through.
Yeah. And a lot of people who've been through the same thing and having a difficult time coming out on the other side. And that's why you created this coaching program, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of different coaching programs out there, and they all are different. And what set your coaching apart from what's out there?
So I would say, one, my experience, right? Because I have literally lived every moment and the darkest of moments, and I've tried so many things. But I have done this work my entire life, right? So I have a deeper understanding, a deeper compassion, and an empathy for that, right? And it's not just about, think positive, right? And when it comes to stress and depression and anxiety, these things that trigger us in the moment, we also have to learn how to regulate ourselves. Where you get stressed out and we can't breathe and we're getting sweaty palms, and no one really teaches us how to regulate those things and take a deep breath and calm down. So that is a big piece of my coaching, so that you can learn how to control your body, so you can feel empowered in that and say, okay, now that I feel a little better, now I can take that next step and shift in the other areas that we also shift. So I would say that definitely my experience and the life skills and regulation that I teach gives me that extra level of just understanding and compassion to be able to give and serve the people that I help.
Beautiful. It's something different when you learn from the books, right? And when you learn from experience, you've been there, you've done that, you've been through the lifetime. And people who come to you who experiencing this, you know how they feel because you've been there before.
Yeah.
And this is something that I myself, you know, when I looking for coaching or looking for teaching or anything like that, I want to make sure that person who teaching me or who training me to do the stuff, they've done it before. And this is what you provide for.
It's so important because I feel like that is something in a lot of industries that get lost, especially in coaching. Whereas, you can Google how to do things.
Right.
And you can teach someone how to do those things. But if you haven't embodied it and you haven't actually lived it and done the work to say, okay, this actually helps.
Right.
And what helps me isn't going to help you, right? Everyone's different. Everyone has their own tools. But if I haven't experienced them on my own to say, this helped me with this, this was better in this spot, then I can't guide you in the right way. If I'm just saying, take a deep breath, right? Because you hear that all the time, just take a deep breath. And it's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
You know, and it's just one deep breath isn't going to quite do it, you know, but it's because I've been in those moments where I've been bullied and attacked and all these things. And it takes more than just a deep breath to get through that, you know, so those skills and that embodiment it's so important. It's so important to have someone who actually lives it and knows the experience.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Shelly, many of our listeners and our audience out there may struggle with anxiety. They may struggle with stress. They may struggle with depression. How do you help the people that come to you, your clients, go navigate through that? Can you give us some example?
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people nowadays struggle with this, right? And it's becoming a bigger problem. Mental health is so huge. It's just important as our physical health. And people don't look at it like that, but it really is. But the first thing that I like to do, right, is really raise the awareness of, okay, what is causing it? Right? Sometimes we just say, oh, I'm so anxious, I'm anxious, I'm anxious. And when you say that, you know, your body and your brain starts doing what it's supposed to do, and it'll create that feeling. So it's really raising the awareness of what we're saying. If you are feeling that way, that's okay. It's normal, right? Everyone feels that way.
Right.
However, it's when we raise the awareness of what we're saying and saying, okay, well, what is making me feel anxious rather than I am anxious? It's a very big difference because then you can disassociate with the feeling. I'm not my feelings. I have feelings. So why am I feeling this way? Okay, that caused it. Okay, well, why did that cause it? And we kind of break it down so you can get to the root cause because that's what's going to help you stop it long term. And then we work on building the habits of now that we've gotten to the root cause, we can build the habit of shifting from I am to I'm feeling, right? And the power of our words that we use and building the habits to say, oh, I caught myself.